New headset.
And we are live. There you go.
Yeah, that was a clusterfuck.
Fuck it. Pieces of shit, goddamn motherfucker. Fuck.
Ah.
Careful now, careful.
Oh, there you go. We are live, I think. It is going.
Yeah.
Sorry. I hate technology.
Let me check.
I like it when it works. I have to buy it. That's the only thing I don't like about this headset. This is obviously picking up the microphone because this isn't actually meant for gaming.
Yeah.
And my dog ate my podcast headset.
My homework? No.
Okay, so let's continue with SoCal's information.
Yes.
I can't remember where you left off, though.
Yamashita treasure.
Yep.
Yeah, and the Yamashita treasure, basically, last spot was they dynamited the entrance to a cave where they were holding this vast 1/178 of a treasure that they had hoarded from all over Asia. And anyhow, the big deal was that that whole idea got me interested in treasure hunting altogether. And ultimately, we had an attorney that was involved in our little situation and ended up sending me over to the Philippines to see if we couldn't drum up some evidence of the different treasure that was supposed to be over there, found by my ex's uncle or cousin's uncle and so forth. Anyway, that set me off on the right foot, and I didn't lose interest in treasure hunting, but I got more into gold prospecting over the following years. And then eventually I heard about this guy in New Mexico. Some of you may have heard about him. His name is Forrest Fenn, and he was just this guy who was a Vietnam veteran, and was a pilot. And he came back to the United States. He was collecting his pension, the whole deal, and he got into doing Southwest art, and was very successful in that area, and finally was able to amass a bit of fortune in his own world. And he got this crazy idea to build a little 10-inch treasure box and stick about $3 million worth of gold and items in it.
I heard about that.
Then, have you heard about that one? Okay.
Yeah.
Though he took it up to his clue was it was one of 4 states along the he got muted.
Nah, hang on. Now all I did, bro, all I do is you can mute yourself when everyone else is talking, and then when you want to speak, unmute. There you go.
And then we don't hear an echo.
Then we don't hear an echo. Do you want to do that? You're the host now.
How am I? I can't control anything.
Just mute and unmute.
Mute and unmute every time you go to speak.
As long as you're muted, apparently there's no echo. But if you take it off,
Oh, my phone.
There you go.
Golden.
Now there's no echo.
Makes no sense. Now, I had a quick question.
Sure.
So a while ago, I wanted to get into panning for gold, and I live in upstate New York. But somebody told me along the way that in New York State, if you actually find any precious metals on your property or even on state land, you are legally obligated to turn it into the state. Do you know anything about that?
Honestly, about New York specifically, no, I don't know. I know in Great Britain and in different parts of the United Kingdom, anytime somebody finds anything of value on their property, they're required to report it to the government. Initially for taxation, which I know, hex, it's BS. Yep. It really is, and we know that. But initially for taxation and ultimately for regulation. And the idea is that they figure if you find something that's considered of value, it could have historic value, and at that point, they want a piece of it.
My whole idea.
That's what happens in Europe.
Right. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
again, I being New York State, I wouldn't put it past them.
Oh no.
But I was planning an excursion just over into Vermont to do it.
just to jump the regulation.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you. I mean, California, we've been at this fight for quite a while as far as different regulations by the government. You can, in different places in the United States, you can still establish a claim where you can go out and mine it yourself, and the claims are not super expensive. They're really cool. As far as price is concerned, you get 20 acres for $3,000 a year if it's in the right location, and it could turn out to give you like just a crap load of gold or whatever precious metal you're looking for. The thing is that if I own a piece of property, I can't technically mine that property unless I have a claim on that property. It has more to do with mineral rights.
Right.
And then when you go out in the desert, like we do a lot here in California, and there's places you can just walk out and pick up a rock, and all of a sudden you're breaking the law. In some cases, that's the case. Most government officials, like the park rangers and people that would just generally be on a location and try to regulate this kind of thing, all of them will tell you they basically look the other way.
Right.
Which is great because they're on our side. They just happen to have a job that puts food on their table.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and so we don't mind those guys being out there. A lot of times
It's just a matter of
getting to be friends with them and letting them help us do what we want to do within the restrictions. And restrictions in California, the biggest one right now is dredging. You heard about the Bering Sea Gold. They do dredging. Basically, you've got a flotation device with a mining.
Right, and they just kind of scoop it off the bottom.
Yeah, and they got a big vacuum cleaner basically, and they stick it down to the bottom and suck up all the gold. And in California, they have restricted any kind of mining that requires a mechanical device that runs off of either electricity or any other outstanding fuel like gasoline or oils.
That's because they have rolling blackouts. No.
Yeah, well, their whole idea is you're destroying the environment.
Right.
One of our biggest arguments was that in a specific area they have this fish. I forget the name of it. It's a very small little fish, probably about 3 to 4 inches.
Yeah, and, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
So they wanted to protect that. I believe it's a Delta smelt. As a matter of fact. Yeah, and so they want to protect the Delta smelt. Okay, all good. However, what we've been able to discover as miners is that when you put a dredge in the water, and generally we're talking about a 4-inch hose, but when you put a dredge in the water and start up your equipment, it's not the kind of thing it's not a blender. It doesn't tear up everything in its path.
Right.
What it does is it sucks it in one end and spits it out the other, and hopefully spits the valuable part of it right back into your sluice box, and you win.
Right.
But what we found is that the Delta smelt were going into the sluice box and then swimming right out the backside. And then they said, well, you're disturbing their environment with their living habitat. And yet we were showing signs, and this is trout too. They were showing signs where the count of fish was actually dwindling because there was no mining allowed in that area. When the miners came in and stirred up the sand and the silt and gravels and stuff in the river, they actually were stirring up food. And we'll be standing in a river mining our using our pans and with our sluice boxes and whatnot, and the fish will be swimming right through your feet because you're kicking up all the food for them. They're hungry.
Right.
They're going to come and eat it, and they don't have a problem with us being there.
Well, that's just like that. It's just like California stopping clearing of dead brush and stuff like that in the forest, or controlled burns.
Yeah,
they stopped doing that. So now, whenever a wildfire does start, it's completely out of control.
That's right. So we have organizations that are fighting these different regulations in California, and I don't know personally. I don't know that much about how much headway we're actually making, but the fact that they're there is huge. One of the clubs that I belong to had actually still have a claim out in Riverside County, and It's 20 acres. It's a good sized piece of property. We have a lot of fun going out there and camping and holding different outings for the groups that we have and everything. And it's plenty of room for everybody that wants to get involved because it's such a large area. And they years ago they used to have a tungsten field, and the military would actually come out and mine tungsten out of the same area. They come to find out that there's actually gold within that mineral deposits, and so they didn't have a reason for tungsten anymore, so they just basically let it out to Bureau of Land Management, and that's where we got a hold of it. And if it's BLM, you can actually place a stake a claim on it, and then go through the requirements and eventually win that stake.
Nice.
In our case, they have the desert tortoise, and mind you, there's a lot of them. We don't want to hurt them. None of the miners are interested in hurting the environment. We want to make sure that it's there for years to come for our families and descendants and so forth. But those desert tortoise, don't cross that line, because if you do, they're going to shut you down. They'll take your claim and everything.
I mean, again, I could understand if sorry. It's still really echoing, brother.
I don't know what's going on there, bro. He's gone.
But it's like, right. I can understand if it's, disturbing the habitat of something, you know what I mean? But, like you said, with the Delta smelt, you're literally creating more food, therefore creating more. But somebody somewhere decided to get a freaking bind in their panties and say, oh, no, you can't.
Yep. And I'll be completely honest with you. When we had my choice of politicians in office in California, I could venture to say who they were, but let's say when Arnold was still in office, we had the freedoms that were not completely unrestricted. I mean, obviously there has to be some something to maintain, a level environment, if you will.
Right.
But the second the others came in, not so good. We lost a lot of those rights.
We human beings are the cause of everything going wrong in this world, even though, the world's been heating and cooling for millennia. But, screw it.
Did you have something to add, Hex?
Yeah, I heard of a really cool hack when you're talking about having to report to the government if you find something. There's actually a way around that. It's just don't tell them.
It's good.
I like it. And see, that would be my first go-to. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I don't know. I was talking to somebody, I can't remember where or when, but they were like, if you find anything in New York State, especially on like state land or something like that, you are legally obligated to let them know. Yeah. And I'm like,
absolutely. Always. No. Absolutely.
Right.
For sure.
Yes.
They obviously have no problem with somebody else doing the work that they themselves want to benefit from.
Right. Well,
that's been New York's problem forever.
I was going to say that's the epitome of the government right there.
Yeah, that's the federal government's whole get down. And I'm just thinking, because I've done some gold panning just for fun, nothing serious, especially when I lived in California, and we go up to Oregon and everything, and there's lots of gold panning up there too.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine finding any thinking, what, I better tell the state about this.
I know, right?
It just wouldn't even register.
No,
like, hey, how do I?
Sorry.
I was going to say, you take it down to wherever you go to exchange it and sell it. Oh, where'd you get this? I found it in my house. That must have belonged to my grandfather. I don't know.
I inherited it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah.
I don't know. For the most part, I've found that in California, as far as mining is concerned, they're not all that fired up about knowing that much about what we do in regards to what we find, as much as they are interested in making sure we don't do something that I don't want to say disturbs the environment, because that's too broad. But they want to have a control on it. That control is the biggest part of the issue.
And that's all it boils down to, is control.
It really
just
is.
like crypto. Just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
crypto.
yeah.
Yep.
Like
We
I
can
said,
find ways to
have
hide that
park
too.
rangers and, you know, the people that work for the state that will come in and say, "Did you guys find anything today?" And yeah, we found this and that. Oh, that's great, man. I hope you guys find more. Good luck. See you later. And they're gone.
Right.
They don't care. They want us to have a good time. You know, they know that we're not out there messing things up.
Well, you're keeping them employed.
That too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, yeah, I still need my bathroom cleaned. I'm sorry.
Well, you know about the national parks and everything with missing 411 and all that.
Sure.
Yeah, so who knows about that organization? Very shady. Not good.
No, I don't. I'm not familiar with that.
What's your name?
You'd probably be more interested too.
Conspiracy Overlord.
Conspiracy Overlord. You don't know about missing 411?
I've been out of the loop for a little bit.
Are you a dragon?
No, he's not in crypto.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So you're gonna want to Google it. Okay, cool. Google it after you get off here. You'll find it fascinating. Basically, long story short, hundreds of people go missing in the national parks. The Park Service covers it up, always under strange circumstances. It's very interesting. It's very cool.
Name again?
Missing 411.
Missing project.
Yeah, David Politis. That's his project, and he was on Coast to Coast with Art Bell. If you just go on YouTube and look up Art Bell, David Politis, or Missing 411, you'll hear like a 3-hour interview. It's
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my next project right there.
there you go.
So you're already familiar with Art Bell and Bill Nye and all these guys out there.
You mean the non-scientist scientist? Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill Nye, the science guy.
Bill Nye.
Just like that Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Actually, it wasn't Bill Nye, but
Bill Norrie.
Phil Norrie. Bill Norrie.
George Norrie.
George Norrie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like right out here with us. Yeah, Coast to Coast AM. You look that up and you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like Coast to Coast. He's And it actually kind of brings me to my next segue here, if you guys don't mind. I'm sure you guys have heard about the U.S. government UFO whistleblowers.
Just recently, right?
Yeah. This last week they had a huge meeting of it in Congress.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you right now, man. Who is it? Werner von Braun said that something along. I'm probably going to butcher this, but basically that the government will wind up one day using information and even evidence of extraterrestrials to start an intergalactic war. Because what is war? War is money. It's profit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And when I was watching that, that's exactly what I saw. Is that they're basically fear mongering. Oh, it's a danger to national security. And those are the biggest words that they're going to say. You know what I mean? Danger to national security, because that perks everybody's ear up.
Yep.
And
it gets their attention.
Right. And I got to be honest, it doesn't make sense. I mean, of course, I'm a believer, but if they do exist, sure, just like there's nice people, there's mean people, evil people, so on and so forth. But I don't understand why a species would travel untold miles, untold light years for that matter, just to harm us. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it probably depends more on what is their original agenda. Is there maybe there's a different use of gold that we're not aware of. Just as an example, like aliens have figured out how to exploit.
Well, it's interesting to think about, but I think like Conspiracy Overlord was saying, if they travel 100 million light years to get here, and if they were hostile, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
That's true. I believe that as well.
Nothing we could do would matter.
Right. And if you look at the
because
government's
whatever-
involvement,
Whatever
you look at the
evidence is
government's
out there, we're already aware that they are pretty much advanced ahead of us.
yeah, I think it's all a scam. Personally, I think those hearings were just a dog and pony show. We already know about Project Bluebeam. We already know about what they plan to do. It's just another form of control.
Yep.
You know, it's just not another, and it's a sleight of hand distraction. Like, oh, everybody, aliens, right? Because you know the economy's in the toilet. Hunter Biden, you know, you can name a million things that they probably want to get eyes off of right now. And what's more convenient than trotting some muckety muck up there in a suit and having them say like, oh yeah, we definitely we recovered vehicles with biologics in them. That means nothing. It means nothing.
Right.
You know, a biologic could be a leaf. You know, it could be, you know, it's a craft of unknown origin. Well, that it could be from another country. And, you know, it's the phrasing they use and everything they said leads me to believe that it's 100% actual bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it makes no sense to me.
Well, you know, and that's the thing. Like Stephen Greer has been fighting for disclosure for decades, and you know, then you got Bob Lazar. He's the reason why we know about Area 51. And but again, you know, all I'm saying is that if they truly meant us harm, we're tadpoles in a pond. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing we can do to stop them.
Right.
So why are we even going to try? Like again, to me, like, you know, like you said, Hex, it just seems like it's a smoke screen to say, look over here instead of looking at what really matters.
Absolutely. It's like the anthill analogy. You know, when we go up over to an anthill and look at it, the ants aren't aware that we're looking at them. They have no conceptual idea of what we are or who we are. And especially if we're talking about interdimensional beings or a race with technology so advanced that we can't even comprehend it. We wouldn't even know that they're here. We wouldn't even know. And it's one of those things where, you know, some people get really concerned about this, but you know, some people we see wearing masks alone in their car. So you know, that's where society is now. It's pathetic.
I still laugh at them. Oh my gosh.
I think, you know, it would be really neat to, you know, and I'm a believer in all kinds of interesting things, but I think it'd be really neat if there were, and I believe that there's aliens out there, but I think it'd be really neat if they just pulled up and parked the car and said, hey, look, here we are. That'd be terrific. But I don't think they'd be aggressive. But also, why would they come here? You know, we're like, you know, we're hairless monkeys running around killing each other over nonsense. You know what I mean? We're not an evolved enough species to be able to be let into the cool kids club.
Well, see, and I think that's, you know, that's a great point. I think that's one of the main reasons why they haven't, as you said, pulled up, parked the car and said, hey, we're here, is because, you know, human beings as a species were scared. You know what I mean? Our first reaction is to pull the gun and shoot and ask questions later.
Sure.
And, you know, me thinking in that mindset, I wouldn't want to say, hey, here I am either.
Right. It's like going to one of those undiscovered tribes and you show up and they all greet you on the beach with their spears.
Right.
But, you know, that's also based off of with the technology that we know we have. What about the technology we don't know we have? What about the Stargates? And what about, you know, the reverse engineered vehicles and all this other stuff? It's interesting to think about, you know, but I mean, ultimately, none of us, no matter how deep into conspiracies you get into, have any idea of what we have, what we don't have, or what's really going on,
No,
or what real history is, or anything. So it's
history is what we know of history is nothing. You know what I mean? I mean, you've got, you know, just even going back to, you know, the burning of the library at Alexandria. You know what I mean? So much history was lost.
It's all a big scam. We're just kept in a box.
And that's all it is. You know what I mean? History is written by the winners. Period. So we're only getting one side of that story. And And you know, and I tell my kids, I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, this is a great age to be alive in because we literally have
I can't hear shit.
all the information we could want at our fingertips. Now, granted, we have to suss out and do the legwork to figure out what is real.
But now I can't hear anything.
I can hear you.
Huh?
We can hear
you.
I can't
And
hear
there's no
shit.
echo.
Yep. I got to run, guys. The dogs are going bananas. But you all have a good night, okay?
Good
All right,
seeing
Heck, see you, bud.
Take it easy, guys.
bro.
All right, see you in a
Bye-bye.
bit.
Later. Big Wig.
The echo's
We can
gone.
hear you perfectly, and there's no echo. But he can't hear us.
I
Can you
can't
hear?
hear dog shit.
Oh,
Check.
Go to
there's
your
a microphone in the settings too. Did you? Is that you checked?
the
that?
microphone's
You're
working
more
now.
familiar than I am.
Obviously, it's just the go to your sound output. Go to sound output, and then he can't even hear me telling him.
I was gonna say, hang on, I'll message him.
Yeah,
There you go.
Oh,
yeah.
Poor guy.
Now there's a little bit of echo. Oh,
there it
Jesus!
is.
I'm not sure.
Can you hear us now?
Check.
Can you hear?
Yeah, we
no,
can
he
hear you.
can't. But now the echo's back.
It's gone now.
Yo.
Hello.
See, I know the problem is you can hear me, but I can't hear myself. Something my kids are fucking with my soundboard. I don't know what they did.
Oh damn.
I'm fucking irritated.
Bro, we can just call it, and then just do it another day.
We need to get together offline, like live.
Yeah. You want to do that? Guys, what do you think?
I'm good with that. I just have a restricted schedule.
All right.
Fridays are concerned.
There we go.
You can hear us now?
I can hear yes, and I can hear myself.
Okay.
Echo is
we got
back.
the echo.
We're still getting the echo.
Of course you are.
So all right. This is the call, bro. Do you want us to just call this, but stay online, and then we'll try to sort out your thing while we're offline.
I'd be glad to help.
Check.
There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen out there. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, this is a fucking disaster.
Very crazy.
Yeah, I'm beyond the point where I'm flustered and pissed off. I don't even want to continue, to be honest with you. So
I'm sorry, Big Wig. You'll be all right, brother.
I it's like one of my biggest peeves in the world is when electronics don't work the way they should.
Yeah.
They just worked earlier, and maybe it's just my ADHD. Like I pissed off over little things and big things. I'm like, don't worry about it. So the house is on fire. Who gives a shit?
But hey, look, even with all the technical shit, still got people watching, man.
Yeah, well,
There you
God,
go.
God bless you guys. I don't have to say it's a fucking disaster. We'll redo it.
No. It's gonna work out somehow.
Oh, I'll get it to work
Everybody-
out. It's just gonna take a little minute because my kids like to hit buttons.
There may be a bigger reason why this didn't tonight.
Yeah. Could
Yeah,
be, man.
I'm a believer that everything happens for a reason.
That's right.
Guys, I'll end the broadcast, but you stay there and we'll help him out.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm good.
Everyone out there, YouTube. Later.
Bless you.